Hello and welcome everyone to episode 22 of the Dirty Side of the Good podcast, where we've turned up late to qualifying, but since we're American celebrities, we have been moved to the front of the grid. I am Yusuf and this is my co-host Muhammad. It's weird kind of pointing when you're online. And
Yes.
we're going to be reviewing the first American GP of the year, which is the Miami GP, the first GP in Miami, the 77th, I want to say, place where we've had a Grand Prix. And thoughts, kind of overall thoughts on the race, like summary kind of types of thoughts.
I'd say they just about scraped it. Like with all of the hype, all of the attention, all of the things they were doing, the amount of excitement they were trying to build up to, it was only ever going to lead to disappointment. And they are very lucky they got away with it at the end. Because I
I
feel like they
think,
would have lost our fans then.
I was very against Miami at the beginning, but having watched kind of the whole weekend, it it does kind of seem like a very Formula One-esque kind of city. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah,
In
I sort of
terms of,
see that. Yeah.
in terms of like you've got all the glamour, the celebrities, the attention from like it kind of fits the bill, I think. In terms of a racetrack, I thought the race was very boring. Uh, just overall, not even in terms of just the front, in terms of the midfield, the back, it was just overall very boring.
Yeah.
The track isn't like, I'd say they did a good job for the fact that it's a car park, yeah. But
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
the track isn't a good track. Like the layout isn't very good. Like, yeah, following is a bit easier now, but that's mainly down to the new cars. But the track just does not aid at all in like we barely saw any overtaking.
Yeah. There was not a lot happening
The only
anyway.
thing I saw that made it like a little bit interesting was, the tires were very hot, and so it took a long time to take them off and put them back on. So everyone's pit stop were kind of very varied. You got like a lot of them were like quite long, which made for kind of interesting strategies, or ruined some people's the races like
Yeah.
Lando.
It was nice to see, like, I don't know, if someone has a slow stop and they get caught up in like four cars already
Yeah,
fighting.
but you're talking about DRS train. We literally were in like because the new cars are so good at following, yeah. Literally, it's just like they were following the whole time, like so close. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It's gone from having cars that couldn't overtake, so the gap stays at 3 seconds, to the cars can follow, so the gap stays at half a second, which
yeah.
is slightly more interesting, but nothing happens. So interesting. Anyway, so we'll get on to the first thing, I guess, which is your thing of the week, if you have one. If you've got like a
I have a few actually. I kept sending them to you so I don't forget. Um, which one was it? Oh yeah, Helmut Marko coming out and saying that the only guy who's talented to be like enough to be put in the same bracket as Max are two guys basically. And he said basically he's talking about Charles and Max right now, and that is Lando Norris. So like kind of thoughts on that because I know it's a very kind of people are very iffy about it, but like, would you put Lando in the same bracket as these two guys?
I will first of all, I'll let slide the fact you've made your thing of the week a Helmut Marko quote. Because like
No,
the
I
moment you
think
said his
I
name,
think
I
it's very interesting.
already hated you for that. But it's okay, no, there's a talking point there, and I'd say I don't know, he had a very good last season. I feel like people
But
but I
is he
feel like
as good as Max
there's
and
the problem. I feel like people either don't mention it enough and then they kind of just bypass the fact that he's there, or they use it to say like, oh yeah, future world champion guaranteed. Like I wouldn't say he's as good as them, no. Purely, actually, here's the thing. I would have said that beforehand, but seeing uh Carlos Sainz now with a string of bad luck, clearly like, we knew he'd get outpaced by Leclerc, but not by this much. And I'm not gonna like, I'm still holding out for Carlos. Like, I'm not saying that he's gonna, fall really far behind or like completely bottle the season or whatever, or get replaced or whatever. I know he's signed a contract extension, but I just wouldn't put Lando in that bracket until he's actually like, he hasn't even won a race yet. Like maybe talent wise, sure, but you need more than talent to be good in Formula One. And He hasn't proven to me that he has that stuff. Like,
I feel like that's the one reason I wouldn't put him in the same bracket is because he hasn't proven it yet. Like I say that Lewis and Max are the best Formula One has to offer now. Or maybe last season because Lewis is terrible this season. But in terms of like people who've gone to prove themselves, I think they're the best here. I think that
yeah.
people talk about Charles being like, oh, he's on the same level, but I don't think he's done enough to justify putting him alongside even someone who's won just one championship. He's won one, he's won seven, he's barely won a few races. So for
Yeah.
Lando, I feel like if I'm using that kind of, like level of kind of like scrutiny for Charles, you have to use it for Lando. And if that's the case, then Lando might be like in terms of talent, yeah. Because you say the same about Georgia, but they haven't gone on to like I say George maybe has a bit more of a claim, like getting P2 in a Williams. Uh,
It was a qualifying session, but
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, but like P2, I mean even in qualifying, getting P2 in a Williams, which is arguably the second worst car in the grid, and not even by a close margin. Like this year, it's quite close. Last year, it was
Yeah.
nowhere close to close. Like this year, I feel like next week we don't know who's gonna be where. Like we know Ferrari and Red Bull are at the front. Everyone else is kind of a mixed bag. You don't know what's happening, which is interesting. But it's also hard to kind of quantify how good and bad someone's doing because you
Yeah.
only have their teammate as kind of comparison. Whereas the years before, you knew kind of okay, Williams was like so far behind, they're not even gonna get points. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone has scored points so far this year. So before we go on,
So,
do you wanna just talk about Alex Albon's red hair? Yeah,
so what about it?
he scored points. He dyed his hair, scored points. Didn't dye his hair, didn't score points. Dyed his hair again, scored points again. Can we just talk about how he's actually doing a very good job? I think people were all saying that does he deserve to come back into F1 and all of that stuff. And I think he's put on a few very good kind of recovery drives. So he went is it P20, P10, P18, P11, P I think it's 18 or 20
Is
again.
what, qualifying or race finishes?
No, race finishes. And he scored
It's
P9
race.
again.
Yeah, that was after. We'll get into that with the. I'm sure he'll be your shout for either
No,
the
no, no, it's not
best
my
driver
driver of
or
the day. But I just wanted to say
race.
like he is performing very well. I think especially when you compare him to his teammate, he's miles ahead. Like it's not even close. I think Williams will be the worst team of the year, but like won't be as bad as it used to be.
Essentially, yeah. Well, before we get too much into the race, we're gonna go into my news round because there was a lot of news. Like there was a lot of actually, but you know, I'm gonna get. Hold on, I've got an idea, right? This could either like work really well, or I might just this might flop, but I don't care. So I'm gonna go full on like news reporter, right? See, look, I've got the glass and everything, and my little sheet of paper. I don't know if you can hear that.
I still can't
So
remember anything.
listen, I'm a quality reporter, bro. I'm coming for Ted Kravitz's job. The number of tweets I've made in the last week about Ted Kravitz. Okay, so
And it still
in
has
terms of
like 2 followers. Bro.
news, I don't even care, bro. Do you know what it is? In like 5 years, I will go back and look at those tweets and say, "Look at this. I have a video
Damn,
of Kravitz."
why did I tweet that? I wish I had never thought that.
It could be that also. Yeah, we'll see. Time will tell. So the first bit of news is the drivers were all over the press everywhere. Normally, it's just Lewis who goes out and does a little talk show interview or something. But we had Lewis and Daniel on Good Morning America and Trevor Noah's talk show. We had baseball visits in stadiums for Max and Charles. Gasly actually
Sergio
met
as well.
Michael Jordan. Sorry,
Sergio as well. Went for the.
Sergio went baseball. Oh, I missed that.
He's literally right next to Max Verstappen as
Oh,
well.
I only saw Max at the pictures. Uh, Michael Jordan was about. Gasly met him initially, but he was actually at the track, so there was a picture of him with Lewis later. And George Russell was courtside watching an NBA match. There were loads of memes because somewhere people weren't. Lewis Hamilton was missed at the Met Gala, even though everyone was expecting him to be there. So there were some great memes from drivers not appearing there. It's worth just looking at the hashtag and looking at the pictures people made. Once again, the jewelry ban came up. Lewis was told to take all of his jewelry out. In protest, Sebastian Vettel was seen running around in his underwear. Some great pictures of that as well were about. However, actually, on the other hand, after the two drivers, Sainz and Ocon, crashed at a certain corner, Ocon experienced 51G, and we'll get into this later, but the FIA actually didn't implement any proper like soft barriers. It was just a straight concrete wall. So even after the drivers complained, they didn't introduce it, which was weird. Memes about the painted car park and the fake marina because there was no water under those. If you couldn't tell. Drive to Survive was announced for 2 more years, so they're going to keep doing that. And the last one is Sebastian Vettel will be on Question Time on Thursday, which is a BBC TV show, and he'll be in East London filming there. So if you
and you forgot Lewis with all his watches and jewelry.
Oh yeah. I mean, I
told you a bad
thumbnail to one of the videos. That's it. I'm gonna pack this stuff now. I'm taking a glass.
You also forgot about one picture where it's like supposed to be the goats basically. So it's Lewis.
Oh, that is a sick picture. Yeah.
Brady, Michael Jordan, and why is David Beckham? Like, this is the one thing I didn't get. What is he doing there? Like, see, each one has a claim to being like one of the best of their sport. Yeah.
Right.
What the hell is David Beckham doing there? He's not even top 100, man. What is he doing there, man? Like, I just don't get why he's there. Like.
Do you think they should have kicked him out the picture?
Yeah, like it ruined the picture, man. Like literally, just ruined the picture.
In his defense, Tom Brady can't be classed as a world champion. Like he could be the greatest of all time in American football, but there's no way he's a world champion in a sport that's played in one country.
Yeah, but still, he is the best at his sport.
Yeah, if you want to call it a GOAT picture, then yeah.
All of them three can be like the legends, and then David Beckham. like, why is he there? Like, honestly, think about it. Why is he there?
I mean, he wasn't a bad football player, to be fair to him.
Yeah, but he's not like the legend, is he? Like, see, if Messi's there, Ronaldo's there, I don't know, like anyone else is there, be like, fair enough, great picture. But I feel like we need to Photoshop him, like crop him out.
Do you know what it is? I bet there were some other basketball players in the background as well. Do you reckon there were other people behind the cameraman just like, oh yeah, can I get in? They were just like, no, I don't even know who you are. Like Martin Brundle was like, listen, I don't know.
I'm very happy Martin is back because last week it was very bad without Martin.
We'll start with that then. So like, what do you think of all the celebrities, on the grid, getting tickets, VIP passes?
See, this is what I was saying. It's a very kind of Formula One kind of thing. It reminds me of Monaco a lot. Like a boring race, but great kind of spectacle before the race.
I mean, a lot of people, like whenever ESPN or Sky Sports, they post a picture of a celebrity at a race, they get a lot of hate. Like, do you think those tickets should be going to fans, or do you think that it's important to have celebrities at the tracks?
I think I don't really mind either way, to be honest. I think having celebrities and stuff adds to kind of the just like it makes it interesting or makes people more kind of like, because if you see like your favorite celebrity going, you're more likely to watch F1 and so on and so forth. So that's kind of the main reason I think they do it. So I don't mind. It's kind of like a marketing thing. So that's fine.
Yes.
I don't like when it's like all the focus of the weekend. Or like when when they're going on the grid walks and all he's doing is like, yeah, hey. Bro, like the other stuff, man. Talk to the drivers. We don't.
That's right. Yeah, that's the one thing that annoys me. Like, I don't care if you want to have celebrities on a grid walk. Like, first of all, the bodyguard thing is annoying. They shouldn't have bodyguards. Like, literally, it's so restricted. And then the second thing is, where are the drivers? Like the grid walk used to be a thing where he'd see like 1 or 2 celebrities and then mainly chat to the drivers. Like he'll catch a driver, just before while he's talking to his race engineer or something, and then he'll catch a driver like on his way back or forwards between his car and the toilet, probably. Like, they'll run between the garage and their car, and he'll catch them on the way and then give them like a quick question or something. And now it's so busy, like he can't even talk to any of the drivers. So all he's doing is just talking to these people that no one cares about. And even when they do talk, here's the problem: the celebrities, either they don't want to talk to him, so not only do they blank him, but they don't say a word, which I find kind of rude. Obviously, they don't have to talk to him, but they don't say a word. They just turn their back on him, which is really annoying to watch. Or they'll go the other way and they'll just chat so much. Like, they'll actually talk to, like, Pharrell would be asked a question and then he wouldn't answer it and just go, "I'm here with my brother Richard Mill." And it's like, well, yeah, we see him, mate. Like, cool. Like, you didn't have to say it so many times. And then like DJ Khaled comes in. Fair enough. He's got the
Oh,
energy. He gives. It was funny. It was
20
cool.
minutes later, he's sleeping.
That's what I mean. Like, this guy has strict time limits to follow. He's cut off by the start of the race. He's cut off by the what's it called, the national anthem. Like, he needs to be ducking around, going the length of the grid to find people. And we've got these men just chatting into the microphone for ages.
I
Like,
think he even cut into the national anthem a bit this time.
yeah, I think so. Like, it was,
Was it David Beckham was speaking and he had to cut into the national anthem and that?
it's painful, man. Like, I like Martin, and he actually tweeted. He said he doesn't actually like doing it, which is really interesting, because here's the thing: do you think they should replace him then? Because if he doesn't like doing it and he doesn't recognize half the celebrities on the grid, then do you think they should replace him with like a, younger, more celebrity wise person?
I
Or maybe
don't think
make
people
it a
have the
celebrity.
kind of attitude to get through like he does.
I'm sure you could find someone. Like, I'm sure you could find someone who would happily just push past anyone and shove a microphone in their face. Maybe not with the way he does it is still very respectful, even though he's doing all that stuff. But I don't know. Like, I feel like they could definitely find someone. It's just, do you
But I feel
think it
like
should be an
then
ex
every
driver?
old
Martin
fan would
shouldn't
be
be a
upset
celebrity.
that they changed Martin for someone new.
True. Yeah, I feel like no, but it wouldn't be like an attention thing though, I guess, because a lot of people like love the grid walk, but I don't know. It's almost like it could be, if he doesn't like doing it, maybe it would be improved if it was like, if you imagine someone who those celebrities knew. So like, if you see,
Yeah, but then it'll be a focus more on celebrities and less on people who actually understand the cars, because whoever comes in won't actually know much about the cars, whereas Martin does.
true, but for the grid walk, do you need to know about the
Unless
car? Like,
unless you
imagine
don't
the
put the
Rock,
rest
right?
of it
Imagine
there.
it's the Rock. Imagine it's literally the Rock. That's just came out of my head. If you see the Rock walking around the grid with a microphone, surely people are gonna walk up to him, and then
Yeah,
at
but
that
he knows nothing about the cars, bro. Like people will be chatting to him about the car, be like, ah, very interesting, very interesting. And just leave. So it'll turn into like I think it would ruin the whole point of chatting about the cars and chatting to the drivers and stuff. Because he doesn't know. He's like, so how are you? It's a bit hot today, no? Yeah,
right.
it's a bit hot. So how's that gonna affect the car? He
I
doesn't
actually had
know.
enough of that, I had enough of that. You're completely right, because I saw this on Sky. I can't remember who it was or who they were getting, but I just remember seeing a lot of interviews where it was just like, oh yeah, hot today, wasn't it? How was the drive? How did you manage the tires? Like that, it just, there weren't questions. Like, it was just really awkward. Like, it felt really stiff at times, which was annoying. I don't even know. But on the topic of F1 bottling stuff, the TV direction, absolutely horrendous. Like, the number of times they'd cut from a thing. I don't even want to get into the rant too much right now. Like, we'll save it for the end. I don't want to keep this section too long. Best performance of the race.
I haven't done 60
The race
seconds
review.
summary yet.
Oh my god, yeah. How did I forget that? Right. You're Please don't time this. I actually forgot about the 60-second summary. This is why I feel so off, right? But for context, the race, I think I stopped watching the coverage at midnight. It's now 10:30 a.m. and we've been in this call since like 9:30. Um, okay, 60-second summary of the weekend.
Okay.
Ready?
Ready, set, go. Practice, boring, a lot of people crashing out, nothing really much happening. Qualifying, Ocon didn't go. Mercedes very slow. Bottas out qualified both Mercedes, which is jokes. Ferrari on pole. The race started. Um, Ferrari went for a different setup to Red Bull. Red Bull had much better pace. The I think Ferrari went for the high downforce stuff, didn't work out. The race was boring until Lando Norris safety car. Gasly didn't see him, crashed into him. Um, Russell had a great race. Albon had a great race. Max overtook Charles and then basically kept the lead, and that's the whole race basically. Oh, a lot of celebrities. Uh, yeah, there's not much to say. Daniel Ricciardo, shocking, bro. That's what I have to say.
Yeah. 56. It was a bit short, but that was very close. That's actually very close, to be fair. And
Yeah,
there was
I kept my
no.
eye on the time. Yeah, I can see the time at the bottom of my laptop. That's why.
You're such a dick. Of
See,
course.
that's what I'm gonna do from now on.
No, no, it's not allowed. You have to cover it up.
No.
I will. I will steal your laptop and put a post-it note over the time so you can't tell.
But then I can just remove the post-it note. What
No, you
type of
can't.
logic is
No, you
that?
can't.
Like,
No, you can't. I will super glue the post-it note to your screen.
and I'll punch you.
Worth it. See, look at the sacrifices I'll make for this podcast. It's all to meet Ted Kravitz. So, race, best performance. Who would you say? I mean, there's a
I'd
couple
say
names to
there are
go
a
for.
few
Like,
for best
yeah,
performance. I put George. I put George and Albon on the top, to be honest.
interesting. Why? We'll start with George. Why George?
He went from P12 to P5. Great drive. I think the strategy and him calling it being like, let's stay out for a VSC safety car, and then actually getting it and being able to. He overtook Lewis and he was comfortably in like P5. So I'd say that one. But Albon, I think he went from, was it P19, P18
I
to
think he
P9.
started 18. Yeah,
So I think that's a very impressive drive. I think
yeah,
people won't realize because he's a very quiet driver. Like people don't kind of realize. It's kind of like Carlos before he went to Ferrari. People didn't realize he was there, just getting good results. People didn't
yeah,
know that getting good results. I think it's a similar thing, and like I think for all the pressure that's been on him for coming back into F1, getting we talked about this at the beginning, getting like the opportunity again to come back into Formula One and all of that, and him kind of going with it and doing a good job like that. It is good to see. Like,
yeah. It is
so I
nice. It's
want
like
them.
I think also on the topic of the red hair that you brought up before. Uh, so you said he's superstitious. You know, he dyed his hair slightly red, got points. Now his hair grew out, so there was no dye in it, didn't get points, and now he's fully gone for it, dyed his hair.
And the whole
He's
team
he's got
apparently said that
P9.
if he scored points today, they'll all go dye their hair red. Yeah.
That's the one. Yeah. And then in Ted's notebook, actually, I'm pretty sure they shook hands on Ted dyeing his hair red as well. I think if he gets points in the next race or something like that. So we could see a lot of people with red hair in the Williams garage very soon. You said George, yeah.
It
I'd
makes for
say
an interesting paddock.
he did say as well when he took his balaclava off under the helmet that it was completely like red because all of the dye had leaked onto his white balaclava. So he said
He,
it looked really bad.
mm.
Um, I'd say for best performance, you've got to put Max in there. To be fair, like he did a good job.
Yeah, but
Overtook
see, this is
like
he just kind of overtook, and then he just kind of. I feel like he wasn't even close. He had like outright performance out. Like,
I would, yeah, he definitely had outright performance, but even there was a bit of pressure on him after the safety car and all that. Like
but it wasn't like
he's done all right. I'm saying
he was
not
getting close,
underrated,
but it
not the
wasn't
best.
close enough for an overtake at any point. See, this is one thing actually I wanted to. You know how uh, in the past few races where there was basically a compromise between going for a high downforce setup versus a low downforce setup.
Yeah,
Red Bull always got this right, and they always had outright performance compared to like they always went for a low downforce compared to high downforce for Ferrari. They were like, we'll beat them at the corners, like in Saudi, we'll be able to do, and then they lost. So my question is actually, and this is very interesting, is Charles has a good car. Charles has the potential to win the championship. He is a good driver, but will Ferrari screw it up for him?
we're doing this already. Okay.
Because I feel like Max has if Max didn't DNF in 2 races, other than those 2 DNFs, he's won a single race where he's actually finished.
And in those 2 DNFs, he would have finished second in both, right?
Yeah.
I think.
So
That's tough. Yeah, no, he would have a commanding lead. I'd say I'm not sure. It's too early to tell. I feel like, first of all, history-wise, Ferrari are prone to bottling the strategy, late with calls, not doing anything. A lot of people actually criticized them for not pitting anyone. Under the safety car, they said they should have at least tried it with one of their cars to try and pit them quickly in the VSC. So I'm not sure. I think it will come down to him. I feel like it will more come down to him. If the car performance is there, I think they'll be competent enough to not fully screw up with the strategy or anything.
yeah, but then they gave up 2 races. Those are 2 races where they went for the wrong setup in terms of high versus low downforce.
Setup wise, I think you can get that. Like I feel like they're not gonna keep making the same mistake. I think obviously
But
they've
they
got
made it 2 races in a row. It might be something related to their car not working at low downforce as good as the Red Bull, but you went for a high downforce versus their low downforce. Lost the race at the very end because their outright performance was just so much. Red Bull was 10 kilometers quicker on the straight than the Ferrari per lap.
oh yeah
No
that's
DRS. That's DRS. That's like 28 kilometers an hour, I think. That's just like
yeah
that's insane. Obviously, it's gonna overtake you. See, it's not so like so high downforce that you're gonna be able to kind of gain so much time that you'll be able to kind of keep ahead. So
yeah.
I don't get their logic, to be honest.
I feel well. We'll see because the biggest problem for them now is going into Spain is the next race, and that's high downforce. But not only is it high downforce, it's a very high tire deg, and they're awful with their tire degradation. Like Ferrari will go through its tires much faster than the Red Bull, which means like could they stop 3 times? Like especially with the aid of a safety car, they might end up like 3 stop because surely it would be it's like borderline between 1 and 2 stop anyway. But I don't know if they'd actually survive that. I think it will definitely be 2 for them.
Interesting thoughts. Science is
Uh,
kind of a no-show. Like, can we talk about how easy Verstappen overtook him?
well, I mean, we can get on to wait. If I've got no, I don't really have any other shouts for best. To be fair, I mean, Bottas deserves a mention.
Yeah, but I feel like he
Maybe
doesn't get it
as well.
purely because of that last mistake where he gave up.
Oh, yeah. That was. I mean, I wanted him to get overtaken, but like that was painful to watch. He's lucky he didn't break his front wing there.
Yeah,
But for worst performance, what do you reckon? Do you reckon that mistake from Carlos was enough to put him in the contention for that?
worst performance. No, I don't think he's done enough to get worst performance. To be honest. You know who's surprising? I only just realized, but Gasly's been having a terrible season so far. By his standard, standards.
Yeah. He always ends
But I
up in
think
some sort of thing. Something always happens to him.
I feel like it's more the AlphaTauri doesn't have the performance to kind of. AlphaTauri was always kind of a solid midfield team where they were competing for kind of the top of the midfield, but now they're just so far behind. Like they're literally in the middle of it. That
Yeah.
it's kind of like.
The problem for them is as well, I feel like they had one race, I think. Let's see if I can find it, where they both finished quite high up. But then other than that, their car just hasn't been like, everyone else has had like, oh, we're really good at this track, but we're really bad at this track. And then they'll jump up and down. But I feel like they've just been pretty bad at all of them. So they haven't had any like, high points finishes yet. I think I'm trying to find where it stood out. I feel like there was one, but I can't
There
see
was
it.
one where they did well, yeah. I think it was the last Australia, maybe.
Uh, it might have been. But Science,
Who
yeah,
could go
the
for West?
problem is Science got a lot of credit for defending right at the end from Perez. But Perez had
He lost 26.2 uh, kph. No, not kph.
horsepower.
Brake horsepower, sorry.
Yeah, so and they Horner said that was like half a second per lap. So he didn't really defend from much. I heard that someone said,
Not
I
half
think
a
his
second. Half a
text.
second is a bit like. Uh,
That's what Horner said. I don't know. Maybe he was exaggerating. Maybe it was like 4 tenths, but he said it was a half a second a lap. I think Carlos didn't have his drink the entire race though, which sounds horrific because all the drivers were complaining about how physical this race was and how hot it was and how difficult it is. So to do that without his drink is solid, but even right at the start, there's not much more he could have done, to be honest. Like there was criticism for like letting Max through, but like there's
I don't think he fully
nowhere
let
else.
him through like Bottas does, but at the same
Yeah,
time,
yeah,
I feel like just it's so easy for Max to go through. Like when Carlos was ahead of him, easy. Like he's getting through very quickly. It
yeah,
wasn't even a challenge. He just kind of went like bye, and he wasn't. There wasn't a doubt that he's gonna stop. It's just like he's gonna go through.
true, yeah. I mean, he was on the dirty side of the grid. But you would think like, surely you're just going straight over to the. Surely you'd go straight over to the clean side like instantly. Like the moment you start the race, surely you're just gonna go straight in front of him to at least try and get on the clean bit for the braking for turn one. So
Yeah, I
not
don't think
quite
he's worst
Bottas, but kind of
performance. But
Bottas. Who
I'd
would get a
say
worse performance than?
good performance. I'd say the Aston Martin did two good jobs. I'd say maybe Mick is in there for ruining his first chance at a point.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's a big
That
shout. Yeah,
collision.
he was running
Uh,
9 and then
put
ran into Vettel.
Daniel in there probably.
Daniel as well. Yeah, Daniel was nowhere. Like McLaren generally had no pace, but
See, that's why I think I put Mick ahead of him because they had like decent enough pace. He was in a good position and he just ruined it. And with who? With his father, man. You never crash into your dad, yeah. He crashed into his dad.
that's some great advice. You see that's going to become like the new Senna quote. You know, and like, oh, if you don't go for a gap that exists, you're no longer a racing driver. You never crash into your dad. It's rule one of F1. But I would say, yeah, when you're running in P9, about to score your first ever points in F1, and you just completely bottle it by going for a move that, like, you could argue it was there, but like, was it really worth it? Like, just take the points. Like, there was really no
See,
point.
that's the thing. He reminds me a bit of George when he's getting frustrated for not scoring points. But George is in a terrible car, so he's kind of excused for that. He's in a
Yeah.
good car that's capable of scoring points, and he scored nothing. So I think he's getting anxious, and he kind of feels like I need to score points. Like I really need to score points.
So you think the pressure of Magnussen performing well is getting to him?
Yeah, I feel like the car is very good, and he's performing. He hasn't scored any points yet. His best is P11, and he's been performing very inconsistently. So I think the pressure is kind of starting to mount up on him. Even if maybe he's not fully like you can see in the way he's driving it.
Last time, imagine. To be fair, I wouldn't like going from the kid who everyone's expecting to be at Ferrari maybe next year to now.
Exactly. I think
You
that
know,
adds to it.
yeah, because like I think the argument soon, if he continues a run of bad performances, whether luck's involved or not, if he ends up not scoring points for a long time, there's going to be arguments as to why he's in that seat.
I feel like that would start maybe like mid-season. If he doesn't score points by mid-season, he needs to leave. I feel especially because it's probably not as fair because this is basically his first season. Like he's got experience from last season, but he's in a good car now. He has a good teammate who's performing like very, very well. I feel like that also puts a bit of like like all his performances look very bad in comparison. Like it might not look bad if it's on its own, but when you put it in comparison to Magnussen, it just looks like where the hell is he? Like
Yeah,
because
yeah,
they were on tracks where they were outright like probably like the third or the fourth best car yet. In some cases, they were the third best car, and he
yeah.
was stuck in like P11, P14. Man. Like, how are you stuck there?
Like Kevin has 15 points. He is ahead of Daniel Ricciardo,
Yeah,
both
but
Alpha
Daniel's been nowhere this season. You know the
Daniel,
funny thing is, my friend was kept saying like, Daniel's gonna finish in the top 3 in the championship this year. He's gonna compete for it. This. The guy is nowhere, man. Uh, it's too funny though. I like Daniel. I think everyone likes Daniel, but
of course, yeah, but like
that emoji.
yeah, on track he's a bit of a ghost.
Yeah.
So we've done worse. Would you say there's an underrated performance, like a drive that hasn't really been mentioned much? I mean, we said Ocon could potentially, oh, not Ocon, sorry.
I
What's
feel
his
like
name?
Albon has a shot.
I mean, I don't know. Ocon. Well, I said Ocon by mistake, but to be fair, he went
Stroll
from.
as well. I feel like Stroll was very quiet, but he went from a pit lane start to P10.
Yeah, I saw this tweet that said, yeah, because he got into Q3. Like, imagine he actually started P10. Like, he could have actually got. I mean, I don't know if his car had the pace for it, but like, could have got a decent position. But to recover back to P10 is solid from him.
Yeah.
Um, where did Ocon
Very
start? I
good
think
drive
Ocon
from
started like
Sebastian as
19th.
well. If not for the hit from Mick, he would have done a good job. I feel like Aston Martin have done a good recovery of a weekend where they've had to start from the pit lane to score points. Is a good kind of goodness. And
Yeah,
I think
especially
they've had good pace. They weren't like the slowest team in the midfield. But
yeah,
see, this is one interesting thing this season. We mentioned it, but it's, you don't know where everyone kind of lies. It depends. It's very track dependent. You go to one, like Lando commented on this so post race. He's like, it's a good wake up call. We thought, like, we're really getting into our stride, going up, and then they're like, yo, where are we? Like, I think he started the race off very well. His pit stop kind of screwed him because he was stuck um, in like the DRS track. But see,
yeah,
this is the issue with this track is I feel like this is the biggest issue is once you get stuck in that DRS train, you're really not getting out of it. Even if you have better performance, you're not getting out. You're stuck.
yeah. It's looking like it's going to be a theme of this year actually. Just getting DRS. Oh, look, the cars can follow. Look, you're right behind the driver in front. This is going to be great. But because everyone can follow so well, everyone gets DRS, and then there's basically no DRS. Like it doesn't exist. If 4 cars in a row have DRS, there's
But
basically no
this is the
DRS.
first time we've actually seen like a DRS train, whereas last year we saw them quite frequently. So I
No, we
wouldn't say
saw
it's the
one in the
biggest
last
issue.
race. We saw one in Imola.
It wasn't this bad, no.
It wasn't this long, but there was Lewis Gasly
But
and
see, that's the thing. These
other
these
third
two
one
tracks,
for
these
Williams.
two tracks were the only tracks where we've actually had DRS trains the whole year.
I feel like there might have been other ones, but they wouldn't have been mentioned in the other
No,
tracks.
no, no. It's
I'm
not
sure.
been like it's been like at the front where they've been competing using DRS and like being smart.
Oh, wait, yeah, of course.
But they haven't been like full DRS train. Whereas last year, every race pretty much you had like a DRS train at one point.
I
So
don't
I
know.
think
I'm
it's an
seeing
improvement.
development. I'm seeing it
But
coming.
I feel like it's more about the racetracks need to be adjusted to the cars now. Because the racetracks weren't designed specifically for cars racing like this. So that might be a thing. But we spoke a bit about safety and about the FIA not changing the barriers. Science
Yeah,
complained about stiffness in his neck after the hit in that. I don't remember which corner it is, but the same one Ocon had the 51G shunt, and the FIA did nothing. And see that's one thing where you're like, but your job is to ensure they're safe, and you're just like, no, we're not gonna change it. Like, how do you do that? And
yeah,
someone was like, hopefully they change it for next year. But they have to change it for this year.
yeah,
You
exactly.
can't wait for next year. Just put like, I'm not saying you have to change everything, but you need to put stuff. Everyone was also complaining about that tight corner. Sebastian complained about it with Martin, and then he went wide at it. I don't remember numbers. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't know corner numbers either. You mean is it the really tight one, the left
Yeah,
right, where the Red Bull
left,
stick and
left,
stuff?
right. Yeah. But see, like I feel like the track wasn't designed very well. Like I'm not gonna. Overall, I think like the track wasn't designed well, and I feel like it was a boring race, and there wasn't much to see. And like you basically at the front, Max was so far ahead of everyone because he just chose a much better setup in terms of like low downforce. Charles
Yeah.
performed okay for his car, performed quite well. Put on the pressure at the end, but then Max just had much better performance. Signs, I feel like we're starting to see him drop off a bit from Charles. You're seeing that gap that was between Lewis and Valtteri all the time. And then Perez did a good job for the fact that he lost basically like 26 horsepower.
True.
But
Yeah,
you can see the difference between
his
Charles
radio
and
is funny as
Max
well.
and like those two guys, Sainz and Perez. There's a big gap between them two in the front two. I feel like it's a Max Lewis type thing, but Max Charles now. And then after that, who was after that? Bottas kind of had a bit of a wee trip, which kind of ruined his race. I feel a bit. Um, George had a very good race, very good call on the safety car and all of that.
He
Surprisingly, the
got
one
very
was
lucky.
the
I
safety
mean,
car.
I'd call it luck personally.
Now, I feel like it's just like at that point extended his like first of all he got his hearts to work very well. Like you have to agree on that.
Well, yeah, no, yeah, I'm not taking
And
away
he
from
extended his thing so far that he was like might as well wait as much as possible. If it didn't work out, he had enough time to come out ahead of Ocon. So he'd have just come out with fresh tires behind Lewis. So worst case scenario, he would have finished still P7, which is a good job, like not a bad job.
Yeah.
And on fresh tires, probably would have overtaken Lewis, so he would have finished P6.
I don't know what the gap was, but I think he would have had to make up a whole pit stop, which is it's a bit of an ask. But either way,
He's on fresher tires, so many years, anyways. Lewis had kind of quiet race. Got hit at the beginning, kept kind of solid, didn't really do much. You couldn't tell he's a 7-time world champion. Valtteri, sad race.
so it's unneeded, but
Just
sure.
seeing him while you're sitting there is actually a lot funny. I'm not gonna lie. Valtteri had a good race except for that one thing. He held up everyone at the beginning, was able to defend quite well. Then that last bit, I feel like it ruined his race in the sense that he could have gotten P5.
Yeah, I mean, do you think he could have held them both up? Because
Yeah.
Lewis was on old hards. He was closing him down slowly, but like we don't know if anything was actually going to happen. But Russell was there in his on his mediums.
I feel like Russell might have overtaken him, Lewis now.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah,
P8, who do you have P8? Ocon.
yeah. From last, he started last because he didn't take part in qualifying.
Yeah, I feel like you have to say that's very impressive. I
Yeah,
don't
he's
like
who
Ocon, but
benefited from
yeah,
the.
I have to
You
give him.
don't like Ocon? Why?
I don't like Ocon. I never liked Ocon.
Interesting. Why? What's he done?
He can't drive, bro. Why is he on a multi-year contract like Leclerc, Verstappen, Lando? But the guy can't drive, man.
The 5 years or whatever it is unjustified, or 3 or whatever it is. But
Bro, the CEO of Alpine was like, why the hell is he our Formula One driver?
serious? Did he say that?
Alpine or Renault, I think it was Renault, like a year back or something. Before he did that, then he signed a 5-year contract after the CEO of like the actual manufacturer was like, why the hell is he driving in our Formula One team?
I'll try link the quote to that because that's insane. I didn't know that.
P9 Albon, great job. I feel like him and Ocon definitely the stars, like 2 stars of the race with George. Um, I feel like I put Ocon maybe up for like Ocon and Albon best performance above George, just for the sake of them coming from the back to points.
Yeah.
P10, we had Stroll, great job. Fernando, not exactly his best
Fernando
race.
could have done so much better. His start was really
Fernando
good.
was playing bumper cars, man.
Yeah, no, that move wasn't on. That was stupid. I mean, there were a lot of incidents actually. If you want to mention the incidents, there was Gasly and Norris, the obvious one that caused the big safety car.
I think Gasly is at fault.
Ooh.
Because he literally, like, Lando's just going by him. He's giving him space, giving everything, and he just goes, like, shunts in. And, like, bro, where are you going, man?
Norris could
It's a
have given
blind
him more
corner. They're
space
saying
to be
a
fair.
blind corner the drivers can't see. And apparently, like, you can hear on the radio, I think he was on the radio in the corner. So I
Yeah.
don't think he was looking in the mirror. So he didn't realize he was there. But then he just, like, Lando has given him way too much space. Like, the track's quite wide there. And he's very far away. And he's still, like, where are you going, bro?
I think Norris could have given him a bit more room, to be honest. But he wouldn't have
And
been
he'd be, like,
expecting him
literally
to like
touching
go.
the wall at that point. So I don't see that.
Either way, yeah, it was a stupid incident either way. Like it really shouldn't have happened, but I'm also glad it did happen because otherwise, like the race would have been extremely dead. Like I'm pretty sure all the celebrities just
Like,
random.
what the hell are we here about?
Yeah, they were
I guess
definitely.
they're there for the spectacle as well, um, like the pre-race stuff. The race not necessarily is the most important thing, and then the what's called post-race stuff, the parties, all of that stuff. So,
Yeah. And what would you say to that actually as well? Because, when you think about it, going to a race, it's fun. You maybe get the chance to meet the drivers. You maybe get the chance to see something interesting. But when you sit down at your seat, you watch the cars, like you're watching it on TV pretty much. And then the only difference is, maybe the crowd cheer a little bit. Maybe you see the cars go past you, what, 57 times in this race because there were 57 laps. How do you make it more exciting? Like,
58
what,
because
what
of
would
the
you do?
formation lap.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we do love a formation lap. I think I heard that the crowd were like cheering as if the race had started just for the formation lap. So
Yeah,
I'm
it's
pretty sure none
America
of
that
the people was
believe
happening.
is this the race hadn't started. Like, why are they going so slow? I thought Formula One was quicker. I feel like we're gonna get a lot of hate for that.
Bro,
Just
I could say
yeah.
so much more. I can say so much more. I actually can't. But like what would you do to make it interesting? Because people like they complain about F1 having big events and concerts and bringing celebrities, but like if you're not doing that stuff to make the entire race weekend a big event, then you're just coming for the race. And if you just come for the race, like I haven't been to one, so I don't know what else you're doing. But if you're just walking up to your seat, sitting down and watching it, it's not the same. Like you could go to a football match, walk up to your seat, sit down, watch the 90 minutes and leave. But if you do that in F1, I can't see it.
It's because you're not seeing all the action. You're only
Right.
seeing a part
Exactly.
of the track.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So like, I don't know. What do you do? What would you do if you're what's his name?
I feel
Stefan.
like they have to have all the entertainment to make it worth the ticket. Because the ticket is expensive, isn't it? It's not a cheap ticket.
Yeah.
So you have to do it to keep it interesting. It's also a way of kind of marking out different tracks. So, like, say Abu Dhabi have these type of events, Silverstone have these type of events, that sort of stuff. But yeah, I feel like the celebrities and all of that adds to because everyone has this kind of mental image of Formula One. If you don't have the celebrities, the parties, all of that, it doesn't. It's not exactly Formula One, you know. It's not just about the cars.
Yeah.
It's also
But
about
then
like it's fast cars and glamour and all of that, isn't it?
if you want all the events and stuff, then surely it would need to be in a city for it to work. So you'd need street races. Or could you?
Yeah, I feel like Formula One now is moving towards more street races because it's more accessible for people to go.
I did.
And like, I feel like there will still be like, you know how they're saying they'll get rid of big races. I feel like the big races will stay. In the case of like the Middle Eastern races, I don't think they'll go anywhere, purely because of the money they have, to be honest.
Yeah.
Big European races, so we're talking Monaco, Silverstone, Monza, Spa. I think they'll remain, but I think everyone else is kind of on the chopping board for them to like. If they move, like say from Silverstone, I think you still get a British GP. I think it'll be like say a London GP,
They would actually.
which I think is going to be dead at the moment.
Maybe they'd do that eventually, but the thing is, luckily, these tracks, because they have so much pull, it doesn't matter. Even if Silverstone was in Scotland, I feel like they could get away with it because people would still go to Scotland to watch
Yeah,
Silverstone.
that's why I'm saying like these few races will remain
Yeah.
purely because of historical kind of stuff. So these are the typical kind of circuit type, like an
Yeah.
actual circuit that they'll go to, which is the big European ones. Then everyone else, they'll actually remove them and have street races. But to be honest, you know how they have three races in the US. I don't mind, like when I look at it now, like Miami for it being very boring and stuff was still interesting. I feel like that is kind of more Formula One than Austin ever was.
I see that. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I thought that was way more interesting than Austin. Like I feel like Austin is very boring.
The
Like I
problem
feel
is,
like
I love the track Austin though. Like the Austin track is so much better than that one.
yeah, it's way better. It's not exactly the best track, but it's fairly interesting. But I feel like overall as a weekend, I feel like this is more interesting. Like I feel like
Yeah.
Las Vegas now is gonna be the new Monaco. Like
Bro, like Vegas.
wait,
Here's the
is
thing.
Las Vegas this year or is it next year?
It's
You
next year. It's
said.
next year. But
I keep
what I
forgetting.
want to say with that though is like it's another balance that F1 has to play where when you were saying Miami is like F1, you know, they've got the celebrities, the stuff going on, the glamour, and all of this. The problem is you're gonna price out the normal fans who can't go. Like if you have like who was there? So like George Lucas, I'm pretty sure was in the Mercedes garage. Michelle Obama was there. The Williams sisters were there. Michael Jordan would have been hanging out there a little bit. David Beckham, Tom Brady. Like obviously that's an area where you're going to get celebrities, but then if you have all the celebrities then in the paddock as well, then like, you know, going around the hospitality areas, then the seating area is limited. I think they didn't sell that many tickets. Obviously they sold out, but I mean they didn't have, there were limited tickets,
That's because
obviously an insane
it's a
price.
compact ball. That's why they're limited tickets.
Makes sense. But like at that point, where do the casual fans go? Or not the casual fans, but like the fans who want to see the race. They're there for the cars. They're there for the drivers. They're big fans of these people. Like at that point, I understand. You know, maybe the season finale. You want a lot of normal people to be able to go to that. You know, the normal ones, the poor ones. But you also want celebrities there. Monaco as well. You okay? Cool. Like some fans will want to go to that, but also it's like a celebrity hub. You're going to want the famous people there. But if you bring on too many of these places and you have on like Miami and now there's, you know, Las Vegas, then you go to like what's another like massive, I don't even know, but like if you end up going to have a race like
I feel
if you
like
move
the only
all the car to the
two
south
that
of
kind of
France,
qualify for that.
hmm?
I think the only two, Monaco, Las Vegas, and Miami, that kind of qualify for that.
At the moment, yeah, but if you start putting in more of these, then like
I
where
see
does
what you're
this
saying.
go?
I see
Like
what you're saying. You start to lose kind of the car racing part of it and just the kind of celebrity part is the important.
yeah, because soon enough then the tickets will because obviously tickets are in demand. People want to go to these races. And if you get more and more attention and more celebrities and all of this, the number of tickets they're going to be able to sell. There's a limited number of races. There's a limited number of seats. You're just going to end up upping the price of the tickets then, and then at that point, that's even worse because if you're selling out your tickets in like 60 seconds, you're going to want to up the price a little bit. And if they do that to make more money, then
And they're gonna do that with the way Formula One is running right now. They will do that.
yeah,
See,
definitely.
this is why last week, was it last week? I think when we spoke. I said that I'm kind of with the way Formula One is going right now. It's a bit kind of I'm losing a bit of interest. Not losing interest in the sport, but just the way it's being run makes you
Yeah,
kind of not want to kind of watch the sport. Am I right?
I I sort of see that. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
it's this.
I
It's
lost
because
hope
you
on
feel like
competitions.
they're pushing the casual fan out. Like you know how Formula One has always been like a rich people's sport, let's say. But it's always been like, are people watching it? People know it, but like a casual fans. But now I feel like it's becoming more and more exclusive again, and it's like we could have gone to races and stuff, but this might even going to the races might be a bit like harder now than it used to be. So it's
Yeah, like you're completely right with the word exclusive because beforehand F1 was exclusive because so many people had heard of it or hadn't heard of it, but they thought it was boring, so they wouldn't watch. So it was exclusive purely for the people who could sit down for a 90-minute race and watch it while everyone else thought, oh, you're just watching cars go around in circles. Now it's going the other way and being exclusive, where if you don't have a lot of money and you can't afford to support these drivers, if you can't afford to buy a ticket, if you can't afford to buy a McLaren hoodie or an Aston Martin bucket hat or whatever, then you don't deserve to be an F1 fan anymore. If you can't afford to pay like £420 a month to watch F1 on Sky Sports,
it's
then
that
maybe,
expensive.
I mean, 420 may not be completely accurate, but obviously the subscription is expensive. It's you have to pay for Sky Sports, which is already a lot, and then you have to pay on top of that. It doesn't come in the main bundle, I don't think. I think you have to pay like an extra bit to get the F1 channel specifically with your Sky Sports bundle, which at that point is it's insane. I feel like the cheapest you could get it is like £25 a month, which to
Yeah.
purely just watch F1, which would be like at most 3 races in a month probably within like a 30-day period.
Yeah.
That's insane. And then so you're right, you're just becoming more exclusive on the other side, where now you can be a casual fan, you can be a diehard fan, you can be whatever you want, but you need to have money, otherwise you're not going to be able to watch it.
Yeah.
It's tough, man. But then I don't know, how would you go about it? Because I was thinking about this the other day. If you're a
I
football
feel
fan,
like it has to be like there has to be a group of tickets for these fans. It has to be you want to make a lot of money. You want to do all of this, the sports being Americanized in that sense.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you have to take care of the casual fan, because if you don't take care of the casual fan, people will start losing interest and purely start watching F1 because the sports, like, they don't enjoy it anymore. Because you can enjoy the racing and everything. Like, let's be honest, you can enjoy all of that stuff. But then the people running the sport can just ruin it for you. Just look at football, like FIFA. A lot of people, because of the issues happening with that, start watching football just purely because of that.
Yeah, and actually, you're right. The rich ones who we're talking about, who may go to 3 of the races in a year, they're not going to watch it on TV. Like, you're not going to see these rich ones, sitting through a boring Miami race. They're going to go away onto their yachts on fake water. Like, why would they stay and watch the entire race when it's boring? They don't care. They've literally they found out who Lewis Hamilton was a few years ago, and they've heard these other names, but they don't know who they are. Like, they don't care about the cars. They've heard of Ferrari. That's about it. Like, there's no point staying.
The only
So
reason they're there is for the selfies, bro. I feel like that's a stereotype, but stuff anyway.
it's probably right. You know what I'd call it. Yeah, it was actually the Coachella GP. Like, it fully was. Like,
Okay.
if you know what Coachella is, if everyone knows what Coachella is, but like, people don't go for the
Explain it for
music.
people who don't know.
Imagine. Okay, so here's the difference, right? We're talking about F1 fans at F1 races going to Spa in the rain to go watch the race. Yeah, that's like Glastonbury, right? You're out there in your Wellington boots, in your awful tent in the rain. I've never been because I don't do drugs, and obviously that's the only thing that happens at festivals. But like, if you're there at if you're there at Glastonbury, like, you're there for the music in it. Like, you're a music fan. You're there. You're cheering. You're like sat in the mud, going to, like, there's like the portable toilets and all of it. Like, it's awful. When you go Coachella, right? People take the pictures of their outfits. They're in their like fancy clothes and all of this. They probably don't even know what artists are performing, and then they'll go there for the spectacle, take a couple pictures, and then there you go. They probably don't even like stay in tents and that. I'm assuming they get hotels and stuff. But like, that's the difference there. When we're talking about Miami GP, the Coachella GP, you go there to say you watched F1. You get a little picture on the grid. You try and like, stand next to the cars or whatever, get a picture in front of the Red Bull in pole position uh, at the start of the race. And then the moment the race starts, there's no point being there anymore. You've explored the track, you've done all the hospitality stuff. You might as well just sit on your phone and post your pictures. Like, it's it's annoying, man. Like, one day we'll go to a race. I'm telling you, we'll go to a race. I don't know
The way
where.
it's going now, we won't be able to go to a race.
If we what?
With the way it's going right now, we won't be able to go to a race.
Listen, with your massive engineering salary, I'm sure you could pay for both of us, so it's fine.
I won't be able to pay for me, but pay for both of us. Yeah, no. Okay,
Engineering,
let's go
Russell
on to
really.
predictions.
Oh, okay, yeah. Right, let's do the predictions. Okay, so we'll start a fantasy team actually.
I'm
Um,
sitting.
yeah. So Yusuf is still winning. His lead's been cut. Whoever CD is, your team name is Gloves and Steering Wheel. It's close. Like, Yusuf, I don't know how comfortable you are, but the guy's gaining on you.
He only getting 5 points.
Okay, yeah, he did only gain 5 points, but the gap isn't as big as it used to be, which is progress at least. Uh, I actually came first in the race week. I got 249 points. If you can beat that, then show me proof. But I got 249 points that race week, which is elite stuff. It's pushed me all the way up into 6th place. So
That's the same
I'm
place you were in last week. 37.
yeah, I'm still in the midfield, but it's fine. We're making progress. It's fine. I'm
I'm pretty
still
sure
not.
you were in the same position last week.
Listen, I came first. That's all that matters. I've
No,
I'm
I'm pretty sure you
without,
didn't actually gain any positions. You're in the same position.
I might be in the same position, but it's progress. I came first this race week. That's
Yeah, but
gaining.
that's only
It's
1
small
week,
gains,
bro. You didn't
marginal
gain
gain.
any.
Once I get rid of the porpoising, my car's gonna be so good. I will gain 8 tenths per lap. So it's fine. I'm not even worried. You haven't changed your team at all, which is a cheat code.
I keep forgetting. It's not by design. I literally keep forgetting every single week.
Sorry,
I
bud.
keep forgetting to change my team. Because I keep thinking that the qualifying is a lot later. I thought this was like Las Vegas, so I thought it was like 1 a.m. I was like, I'll do it tonight, yeah. And then I'm checking Instagram. It's like qualifying is over. It's like what? And I refresh. I'm like, oh well, guess I'm not changing my team this week. This is what happens, when I do these fantasy things. I get very interested like the first week. Then I just keep forgetting and I only realize after, and then I just give up.
This is annoying, yeah, because now I'm the point. If I somehow get to the point, I feel like it will get to like Spa and I'll overtake you. I'll be like, yes, my like 14 Excel spreadsheets and how sweaty I was trying, and I got all of this stuff and I did the calculations and I figured out the best team. And now I'm 4 points ahead of you. And you'll be like, yeah, I haven't changed my team since like Bahrain.
I changed it after the first race. That's it. I haven't changed it since.
I
I
might have
put
to
in Perez. I put in Perez. Perez wasn't in. It was someone else. Russell. I changed Russell for Perez. I might put Russell back in. He's doing quite well.
I got Max and Charles in mine, which is quality stuff. But we'll see how it goes. Okay, so the other one, the general race predictions, I'm not looking forward to this because I've got a bad feeling about it. So, what do we have? All right, so qualifying, I said Max, Charles, Perez. Ah, you got it right. Yeah, Max, Charles, Carlos. So that's
What did
one.
I say?
Max, Charles, and Carlos, which is right.
No, it was Charles, Carlos, Max. No,
What?
Max. No, qualifying was Charles, Carlos,
Oh, I'm
Max.
not looking at qualifying in it. Oh my God, I was looking at the race result. Wait, so Leclerc signed Verstappen. Verstappen, Leclerc. Yeah, no, we both got all of it wrong. I thought we were right. We both got it. I'm so dumb, bro.
Okay, for the race, what's happening with the race?
For the race, you said Verstappen, Leclerc, Perez. I put Verstappen, Leclerc, Perez.
Oh, come on, man. Come on, man.
You should have had it, so you should have. No, would you copied me?
You copying me, bro. Okay,
But here's the one. Yeah. Driver of the day. I'm pretty sure it's Max Verstappen, right?
Yeah.
You went with Max Verstappen. I went with Lando Norris.
Yes.
Lando Norris.
And after that,
And DNFs. You said 5. I said 3. There
that's
were 5. There were actually 5.
another one.
Yeah, I'm reading it.
There
There
were
was
two DNF.
Magnussen, Vettel, Gasly, Norris, and Joe.
What? Oh, so I win this week. It's 3-2 now.
Oh,
Yes.
fine.
Yes, boys. No, no,
Yes.
no, no, no. I was actually worried I was gonna lose, bro. Yes.
You were worried you. All right,
Bro.
3-2. Well played. All right. Next one is Spain. So, predictions for Spain for quali. I'm gonna have to go Max, to be honest. I'm gonna say Max gets. Actually, no, I'm not. No.
Oh, actually, 5 DNFs. I thought there were 2, man.
2. Okay.
You have been destroyed, my brother. Okay. Continue with you.
Horrible.
Does it feel losing in F1 fantasy, losing in
Nah, I'm
these?
gaining an extra. I'm taking this
You've
race week
been
win.
destroyed, bro. You've been destroyed. Does it hurt?
I'm gaining. It's fine. It's the comeback story.
What
Like,
gaining, man? My lead on you in the fantasy is growing, and the lead is growing, man.
it's definitely not growing.
It is.
I'm making it back. It's fine.
Sure, if you say that.
Just wait. Just you wait.
Keep saying it. Please. Just know that after like 15 races, when you overtake me, I would not have changed my team. So all your effort is literally for nothing. Like I don't do anything, and I'm so far ahead of you.
Lucked out on that team so hard. Right. Okay. No. So what do you say? Qualifying Barcelona?
Charles Carlos. No, wait. Charles Max Carlos.
Okay. Carlos Sainz. I'm gonna go with.
Lando Lewis George.
I want to say.
Lando Lewis George.
No, I'm gonna go with Max. I'm gonna back Max, then Charles, and then I'm gonna say Perez. Okay, race top 3.
Max, Charles, Perez.
Like, surely something mad has to happen soon, right? Like, surely
I said
something
that last
stupid
year,
has to
nothing
happen soon.
happened before.
I did, but then I'd always get it wrong when it happened.
Yeah, it always put Carlos, and then Carlos wouldn't show up.
I can't. Yeah, no. Backing Carlos Sainz never went well for me. I'm gonna say Max will win again, and I'm also gonna say Perez finishes ahead of Leclerc. You're right.
Yeah, I'm just winking at the camera. Okay, what did you say again?
I was clicking on. I'm gonna say Red Bull 1-2, and then Leclerc.
Okay.
Driver of the day.
MV.
Okay. I want to go different again, but I also don't.
Lando, go for Lando, bro.
I'm definitely not going Lando.
Uh,
But
or George.
I wonder if the votes were close. George
Lewis,
is an
for
interesting.
Lewis, bro. How come you don't go for Lewis, man? I thought you were a big fan of Lewis. You should be going for Lewis, man. Why
For
isn't
it.
Lewis in your top 3?
12-year-olds that vote will not go for Lewis. The 12-year-olds that vote definitely don't go for Lewis.
You're
Let's go.
basically giving up on your favorite driver for them, then. Is that what loyalty is? Why isn't it moving?
DNFs
5.
5. You always go so high for DNFs.
Okay, no, I'd say 3, 3, 3.
3.
I don't think it'll be 5 this. I usually go for 5, just like this isn't gonna. No, I don't think it'll be 5 this way. 3, 3.
I'm going for 2.
Okay.
I was always going to go with 2. All right. Do you want to do the outro, seeing as you forgot what it was? Yeah, you did the intro. You did the outro.
Yes. Thank you guys for listening in. Please follow, subscribe, like. You'll see like the platforms are on down at the bottom somewhere. Yeah, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week.